Very good morning. Today, in our session on Business Research Lab, we'll be talking about one between, one within subject analysis of variance. We have been talking about ANOVA for past 3-4 weeks, and we have covered one-way ANOVA. We have talked about two-way ANOVA. Last week, we talked about one within subject analysis of variance, and today we'll be talking about one between, one within subject analysis of variance. Now, talking about one between, one within subject analysis of variance, it is being used when we are having two independent variables and we are evaluating it over a dependent variable of interest. In the one between, one within, and over, one of the independent variable is between subjects factor and the other is within subject factor. The between subject factor consists of two or more levels where each participant receives only one level of treatment. The within subject factor consists of two or more levels where each participant receives all levels of treatment, and we'll be just discussing an example on the same. So here the example is we have a researcher who is investigating whether a mentoring program designed for newly inducted management trainees was effective at reducing stress. So we have 20 new management trainees participating in the study, with 10 management trainees receiving the mentoring program and remaining 10 not receiving the mentoring program. That is, they are the control group. The mentoring program, the new mentees were being assigned a mentor who were you can say to meet them once in a week, and they were just helping them out in assimilating within organization, taking care of work pressures and something like that. After agreeing to participate in the study, all management trainees were administered a working stress scale 1 week before joining, 4 weeks into the year, that is week 4, and 8 weeks into the year, that is week 8. The working stress scale ranged from 20 to 80, with higher scores indicating greater working related stress. So, in the study, we have got support, that is two levels, mentor or no mentor, and then subject, you can say that is between subject factor, and then we have got time, three levels before 4 weeks and 8 weeks, and that is within the subject factor. And the dependent variable is reported level of work pressure related stress experienced by the new management trainees. Now, coming and talking about the objective of the study, the objective is that is there a difference in the stress level between mentors and non-mentors, uh, management trainees, or is there a difference in the stress level before the program, or at the 4 week, or at the 8 week? So we are talking about the differences first at the stress levels for the mentored and non-mentored. That is, the subject is support, and the second one is we are talking about time. That is there a difference in the stress level before the program began, week 4 and week 8? And then we are talking about the interaction between the two independent variables, that is support and the time, and then saying that okay, fine, does the impact of support will depend on time, something like that. So that becomes the objective. Data requirement, we all know we have got two independent variables. One independent variable is between subject factor, and the second one is within the subject factor. Here, the case being that we have the support as the subject factor, you can say independent variable, and the another independent variable is the time, that is within the subject factor, and then the dependent variable are the stress values of the 20 participants, which is more of a continuous scale. Now, coming to the hypothesis, we have got three hypotheses to be framed in the scenario. Hypothesis one will be talking about support only, and we have to see that okay, fine, whether the stress level of the management trainee is same when it comes to you can say the stress level is same when it comes to you can say the candidate being mentored or not mentored. So the mu that is null hypothesis means that the mentored and non-mentored will have the almost similar stress level, whereas for the alternate we all know their stress level is bound to be different. Coming to the second hypothesis, here we are talking about the test of time, and then we are talking about that, okay, fine, that there is no difference as far as the stress level of the management trainee is concerned, and they being in the before week 4, or maybe you can say 8 week of the organization, job in the organization. But if you look at the alternate hypothesis, it says that at least one of the means is different from the others. Now, coming to the third hypothesis, here we are saying that there's an interaction taking place between the two independent variables, that is support and time. Uh, so, in case we talk about null, there is no such, you can say, interaction. But in case of alternate hypothesis, there is an interaction taking place. So if we are evaluating the hypothesis, we need to remember that if the value of significance is equal to 0.05 or less than that, we'll be accepting the alternate hypothesis. Coming to the research questions, we have the three research questions here. That is for support, for time, and for interaction between time and support. And the research questions are stated here. For support, it is, you can say that the reported stress level differ for those who receive mentoring versus those who didn't receive mentoring. And then the one for the time is that is there a difference in the reported stress level before beginning, you can say, working at 4 week or at 8 weeks. And for the third one, you can say where interaction is being talked about for time and support. Do the reported stress level for the time depend on whether or not mentoring was received? So these are the research questions which we are framing. And then coming to data. So data is already given to us. So you have the data before you. And this data can be used to actually see to it that, okay, fine, we can work on this data in the SPSS file and then see how the conclusions or answers are coming up. So here we are moving to the SPSS file. So now come to the SPSS file. This is the data view. We have placed the data over here. And now we'll be, you can say, working on the variable view. So the first variable happens to be the support. So we are saying that, okay, fine, are these management trainees getting support or not? One means that you are having a mentor with you, and I added. Two says no mentor. So that's there. So we have added it. I say okay to it. And the measure happens to be the nominal one. The second is before, and this is again, you can say, in scale format. Then we have, you can say, week 4. So this is again in scale format. And the last one is week 8, and this is again in scale format. So that's there, the things are there before us. So we have already worked on all these three. Now coming and talking about the analysis part. So before we do that, there it is, how the data view will now appear. Coming to variable view, moving and talking about conducting one way within and between subject ANOVA. So we are moving to analyze, we are moving to general linear model, and then we move to repeated measures. Similar steps as we took in the chapter 10, which we did last week. So here again, I'm saying time, and then time has got 3 levels. I'm placing 3 here, adding it here, defining it, and then we have the 3 things coming up. So I'm moving them to the right hand top box, that is between subject's variable time. A support, we all know, is between subject factor, and then we click on options, click on descriptives and estimates, click on continue, and then we click on OK, and we are now moving to the output file. So the output file is before us. We click on the output file, and here we are. So we have got before week 4 and week 8 as 1, 2, 3, that is within subject factors. And then if you look at, you can say between subject factors, we have got 1 as mentor, 2 as no mentor, This is what the descriptive is coming up. So for before, you can say for mentor and no mentor, the mean is almost 41 for each of the two, with a standard deviation of 3.29 and 2.78 something. And then for week 4, we have mentor. They have their, you can say their value has actually reduced to 29 something. For no mentor, it is 44 something. So the stress level is less for people who are having mentor or MTs who are having mentor, and with standard deviation of 4.08 and 3.12 respectively. Week 8, mentor management trainees are having a stress level of 34.7, whereas no mentor is having a you can say a stress level of 41.4 with a standard deviation of 6 and 3.68 respectively. So here we see that, as you can say, the time is moving ahead. The difference or the gap between, you can say, management trainees who are having mentor and those who are not having mentor, the difference in their stress level is increasing. But is it really, you can say, significant? So for that we are looking at, you can say, Macaulay's test of specificity, where the answer comes to 0.006. So we definitely know that there is a significant difference in the two, but Molly's text of specificity may not be the real way of, you can say, signifying, sorry, accepting the things. And therefore for that we go for test of within subject effect, where we have got three tests before us, that is specificity assumed, greenhouse geyser, um, you can say a human field, and lower, you can say, bound. We generally are, you can say, working more on greenhouse geyser, because that is supposed to be more, you can say, more in between the hewn field, you can say, concept, which is more liberal, and lower bound, which is more conservative. So we are working more with, you can say, greenhouse. If you look at the DF for greenhouse, it's somewhere, you can say, the values are coming to 1.375, and then maybe you can say somewhere the next one is 24.747. So these are, you can say, the two values. This is df1 and df2, which we generally write, and then maybe the f value is 12.078 with a significance of 0.001, 0.001. So this comes to be a very significant value for us, as far as, you can say, the the acceptance of, you can say, the things are that, okay, fine, we see that, you can say, differences do occur, and we now are assured on the things that the spirituality concept is being accepted. And now coming to, you can say, the analysis which we are going for will be, you can say, more of talking about test of within subject contrast. For time, it is f values 8 point something, significance is 0.009. So all these values we are noting. For time and support, the interaction between the two, again, you can say the f value is 9.6 something with a significance of 0.006. So these are things we are accepting. As far as effect size is concerned, effect size in case of ANOVA, we all know, is given by eta square, which is equal to sum of standards. For time, it is 93 something, and that is being divided by sum of square for time, that is 93 something, plus, you can say, the error, sum of squares error, which is 197.850. Similarly, if I am trying to find out eta square for interaction between time and support, it is sum of squares for time and support, that is 105.625 divided by sum of 105.625 plus 197.850. And this way we can calculate the things which we'll be seeing in the answer a bit later. Now, since we have seen that the 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 greenhouse geyser result is talking about, the greenhouse result is talking about, you can say, the answer of 12.078 and a significance of 0.001. And for time and support, it's time and support as an interaction, it comes to, you can say, again 8.251 with significance of 0.004. So we are going to conduct the final test, which will be independent sample t-test, and that will be just seen to compare the things for the differences that takes place between the stress level of these new empties who are, you can say, either being mentored or not being mentored in a pairwise scenario. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to analyze, I go to compare means, and then I go for independent sample t-test, and then maybe you can say support is my grouping variable, which is having one as mentor, two as no mentor. I continue it, and then I've got before week 4 and week 8 as three values before me. I put it here, click on OK, and the answer is there before you. So the answer I've got here, if I look at the answers already I have seen previously that okay, for before mentor, no mentor, 41 something for both of them, for week 4 39 and 44 something respectively, and for week 8 34 something and 41 something. So that is the answer which we have already seen the descriptive a while ago. But looking at, you can say, the statistical differences or significance coming up for before, you can say the two values are not that significantly different. T value comes to, you can say, 147 with a significance of 0.885, which we will ignore. But for week 4, the value comes to, you can say, 0.2703. 2.703 with a significance of 0.015, which is quite high. This means that for week 4, as far as mentored and non-mentored, you can say empties are there. There's a significant difference as far as their stress level is concerned. And same thing goes for week 8, where you can say the t value is 3.008 and a significance of 0.008. This means the amount of stress and the difference, you can say, between the two is increasing as the time is progressing. So all this data before us will simply move to our new share, and I'm moving to my analysis part. So I'm sharing you the data, and there we are. So we have got the things here, and the steps that we were to use for conducting ANOVA is just seen here. Effect size, we all talked a while ago that how the effect size is to be calculated. So this formula is already before us. You can go through the formula for the previous, you can say, videos we have talked, and how are we going to write the result. So a one within ANOVA on working stress was conducted with support, that is mentored not mentored, as between subject factor, and time week 4 before 4 weeks and 8 weeks as within subject factor. The results that were being conducted, you can say, showed a significant mean effect for support at F1, that is 2 degree of freedom 1 and 18 is equal to 6.22, and p value is less than 0.05, partial eta square is equal to 0.26, and a significant mean effect for time, that is greenhouse geyser adjusted F 1.38 and 24.75 is equal to 12.08, and p is less than 0.05. So partial eta square is equal to 0.40. For support, mentored, you can say, management trainees reportedly significant less than non-mentored, you can say, management trainees that we have seen. And there was a significant interaction between support and time. Greenhouse geyser adjusted F 1.38 and 24.75 is equal to 8.25, P is less than 0.05, and partial t square is equal to 0.31. So simple effects analysis were conducted for support at each level of time, with each test conducted at alpha level of 0.016. This you can basically understand by looking at the previous video 10, where you can see this explanation has been done. Just one more point, why this 0.016 is coming. How many levels we have got? We have got 3 levels for the within factor when we are talking about time. So we have got uh, before 4 weeks and 8 weeks, and we know that the p value has to be um, at the most equal to 0.05. So we have to have, you can say, for the 3 levels, so 0.05 divided by 3, so 0.016 something will be the value for, you can say, p here. So we have to accept, you can say, the things at alpha level of 0.016. So the results for the simple effect test indicated that mentored MTs, management trainees, reported significantly less stress than non-mentored management trainees at 4 weeks. T degree of freedom is 18 is equal to 2.70, P is less than 0.016, and at 8 weeks, T at 18 degree of freedom is equal to 3.01, with P is less than 0.016. There was not a significant difference between mentored and non-mentored management trainees before beginning of work. That is, you can say T 18, degree of freedom is 18 is equal to 0.15, P is greater than 0.016. So we have got the means and standard deviation also put up here in the data so that it can be well understood. So this is how we are going to answer a question which is related to one way within and between subject and over. So thank you for watching this video. I'm sending an additional video on exercise 1 for you to understand the concept in a better way. Thank you.